Getting his first loss to Ilia Topuria at UFC 282 was harder for Bryce Mitchell than he had expected. It took him as far as considering retirement. Yes, you heard that right. In today's video, we'll talk all about that and look at what some pros had to say about his submission loss. So keep watching if you want to find out more. First up, let's look at how their fight went down. The match took place on Saturday, 10th of December. As you all probably know, it all went down in Las Vegas. Bryce Andrew Mitchell went against the MMA fighter Ilia Topuria. Both of these fighters are nothing but extraordinary. Their performances throughout their careers have been spectacular. Ilia Topuria is at number 9 in the UFC featherweight rankings, so that goes to show just how amazing of a fighter he is and that he has made his name in the game. Bryce, on the other hand, is just as incredible. He is currently ranked number 11 in the UFC featherweight rankings. So now that we've refreshed your memory about how great both these fighters are, let's talk about the fight itself. The match between the two fighters was well anticipated by fans and people all across the globe. Fans had all kinds of speculations about how the actual fight would go down, but one thing was established among everyone despite the difference in opinions, and that one thing was that no matter who ended up winning, the fight would be legendary and pretty iconic. And now that we've seen it for ourselves, the match was worth every second of wait and anticipation. So you already probably know who won, but we'll still talk about it for those of you who don't know. Ilia Topuria walked away with the winning title from the fight. We'll get into some specifics of the game as well. How did he do it? How did it all go down? We're sure you are all dying to know the answers to all these questions, and we'll try our best to answer each and every one of these questions. Just keep watching. Topuria won by putting Bryce into total submission, which was a great joy to watch. Well, maybe not for Bryce's fans. Topuria put Bryce in an arm triangle choke that left him defenseless. This ultimately forced Mitchell to tap out at the 3-minute 10-second mark of the second round. The fight took place inside the T-Mobile Arena. Following up, here's more details about the fight. Topuria established power from the first round when he landed a power-packed kick to start things off. This sent off the right message for Topuria. Although Topuria stayed mostly dominant in the first round, Mitchell managed to get a takedown and top position, but this didn't help him all that much. He couldn't make anything meaningful out of this top position, and then the game went right back into Topuria's favor. Topuria started the second round just the way he started the first one, this time showing off his striking pressure. We have to admit, it was pretty impressive seeing him perform. Don't you all agree? This is when you could see Mitchell getting a little desperate, as he constantly kept trying for takedowns. Unfortunately for Mitchell, this only made things much easier for Topuria. This is when Topuria put Mitchell into the arm triangle choke after some time and forced him into submission, ultimately walking away as the winner of the fight. The whole fight between the two was so fun to watch, so much suspense, drama, and of course power-packed moves. Our favorite. In a post-fight interview with Joe Rogan, Topuria talked a little bit about the fight. He said he saw the opportunity for submission and was happy to take it. He had to do it. It was just too good of an opportunity to pass.
Before I walk in, I knew that I was better than him in the ground, in stand-up, anywhere. But the game plan was to strike with him, but at the end I had to submit him because I got the opportunity.
I had to take advantage, he added. The results of the fight proved great for Topuria, of course. But Mitchell, he's been having a hard time digesting what happened. Let's talk about that now. Coming up next, Bryce Mitchell is considering retiring after this loss. Yup, you heard that right. After this loss, he is seriously considering retiring from MMA. Just leave it all in the past and start something new that interests him now. He gave his reasoning for this as well. Right after he faced the loss to his fellow MMA fighter, he talked to an interviewer and expressed how he was feeling at the moment. He said he felt some regret following the fight. The reason? Well, don't we all already know? He regretted this because he, along with his fans, knew that he could have done so much better at the fight. He continued to mention how much physical and probably emotional pain he was in at the moment. Facing such a loss at the relative start of your career can really take a toll on you. He then said that he was unsure if this was what he really wanted to do, if it was really worth it to him. He then told us how he wants to just stop MMA altogether at this point. He wants to take all that energy and focus he put into MMA and put it somewhere else from now on. It was shocking to hear this from Mitchell, especially when you remember that he was considered one of the UFC's biggest prospects before the fight. He continued his statement by saying that this is the right time for him to retire from the sport. He said it's the right time because he didn't want to fall any further or feel this much pain ever again. Both are valid points. Maybe he's just emotional at this point. We hope he is. Losing such a star from the sport would truly be a loss. We hope he doesn't let this setback make him abandon his career altogether. This just goes to show what kind of toll these big losses can take on someone's mental health.
This is some heart. I'm just going to cut it up in some thin slices and fry it. It's part of my diet.
Whatever he decides to do, we just hope he's healthy and happy. Following up, here's what Mitchell said about the fight. This was Mitchell's first ever major career setback, so it's no wonder to us that he's having a bit of a hard time dealing with it. It's completely understandable. Even before the game at the conference at UFC 282, Mitchell seemed pretty confident in himself and his skills after Topuria commented on Mitchell. "I predict I'm going to win," he said at the conference. He also said how he proved Topuria wrong, the way Topuria had called Mitchell a coward. Mitchell said he's not a coward. A coward would never show up to a fight prepared to die. He said he proved Topuria wrong here, and he would do that again in the fight on December 10th. Well, call it wasted dreams or whatever, but what has happened has happened. No point in crying over spilled milk. But we think what he said at the conference might be one thing that haunts him at the fight. That must feel pretty humiliating and embarrassing. After the fight, he told people that he had a really bad flu at UFC 282, which drained most of his physical and mental power, leaving him just a husk. He told his fans that he's doing much better now and is at home. He continued to tell his fans about how he wasn't himself in the fight. He said whoever they saw fighting that day was not him, and we agree. He did seem a little out of his spirits. He said he had the flu but decided to still go for the fight because he thought he could just tough the flu out, but at the time of the fight, he was hurting in several places because of being sick. At one point, he even expressed regret about taking up the fight and wished he hadn't done that. He ended his statement by saying that he'll recover and come back stronger because he was not pleased with his last performance, just like his fans. But it wasn't his fault. He had the flu, right? Finally, let's look at what pros had to say about the fight. People had a lot to say about the fight from the moment it was announced until now. Everyone has something to say, from fans to fighters and pros in the game. Marlon Andre Vera Delgado tweeted how he felt about the fight, expressing how he was excited about it before it went down, saying it could be the best fight of the night. Former professional mixed martial artist and current host and comedian Brendan Schaub also tweeted about the fight, talking about a little game he had going on with the fighters. "If Bryce wins, Brian owes me $800. Topuria wins, I owe Brian $500, he said. Flyweight champion Henry Cejudo had something to say about the commentators at UFC, which a lot of you might also agree with. He tweeted about how the UFC commentators at the game were really fluffing the shit out of the card. He kept tweeting a lot about the game while the fight was going down. He tweeted about the first round, mentioning that Topuria dominated the first round. So if Mitchell wants to take him down, he'll have to do it slowly and with strategy." Retired UFC fighter Alan Jouban was also sitting on his phone while watching the iconic match and had something very interesting to say, just like the rest of us. He tweeted, "These feints by both men will play a big part in landing something." So, do you think his prediction came true or not? Let us know down in the comment section. After the fight ended and the results were made public, Alan commented on how he was incredibly impressed by Topuria. He tweeted about how no one has ever been able to do what Topuria did to Mitchell, and that was what impressed him a lot. He also commented on Topuria's tattoo, saying he has his own tattoo too. Man's legit. In short, he was pretty impressed by Topuria after the fight. That's all we have time for in today's video. Let us know how you feel about Mitchell saying he's going to retire down in the comment section. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to smash that subscribe button for more videos. With all that said, we'll see you in our next video.